Okay, so I know from that title alone, some of you are watching this and holding your mouse over the unsubscribe button, but please, let me explain.
No, there is too much. Let me sum up.
So, generally the first thing that comes to gamers' minds when the phrase reusing assets is uttered is lazy developer. And sure, out there somewhere is a video game that reuses assets because maybe the devs were indeed lazy, or, and more likely, they were pressed for time and money by a greedy publisher and a deadline that couldn't be pushed back. Pick unrelated. However, more often than not, developers choose to reuse assets because it allows them to focus on building new stuff while smartly using what they already have. And sometimes reusing assets is a choice that contributes to a stronger overall experience and could have led to a stronger story told. What does it mean to reuse an asset in a video game? Well, basically, everything you see inside a video game is an asset. That level? Asset. That new beard style for Cal? Asset. That turtle? Asset. Now, take that turtle from its first location and then put it in a later section of the game. Congratulations, you've just seen a reused asset. Now, why do I like when a game reuses assets? It's just the developer being lazy and not making new content for the game. Well, it's because when done smartly, it can lead to some of the coolest moments in a video game. These moments can range from a way to expand the history of your game world and make it feel more lived in, or to showcase how your actions and progression in the story can have an effect on the game world. Sometimes the game in question will do both. This is a technique called layering. A layered level design is a design in which the developers can get the most mileage, be it mechanical, gameplay challenges, and/or narrative purposes out of their level. And to do this, it typically means you'll have to reuse the space multiple times in your game by having the story return the player to it at different key intervals in the story. Some games choose to use this technique rather sparingly, but other games are content to use it frequently. And by frequently, I mean about a solid 70% of the game. Naughty Dog utilizes layering to build the majority of the levels in Jak 2. Jak 2 is a semi-open world action platformer with a linear narrative. Haven City is our open world, and within the city there are multiple large hub-like levels that you'll visit multiple times throughout the game. The pumping station, the drill platform, the dig site, Haven Forest, Dead Town, and finally, the crown jewel of this technique in the game, the sewers. The sewers in Jak 2 are one of the biggest areas in the entire game. You have to return to it a grand total of 3 times in the main narrative. The first time we enter, Jak and Daxter have been tasked by crew to clear the flooded sewers of Haven City of automated turrets. This mission introduces us to several elements that will be a constant of this area. As far as the gameplay goes, the enemies you will face down here are all of the animalistic variety. Metalheads are pretty present down here, and you get eased into how that enemy faction operates. What's most impressive about this area is just how much narrative and story content it conveys. Earlier in the game, we learned that the Metalheads are already in the city. Now we know where they come from. We're also constantly told and shown through the different sections of the city of Haven's age. This city has stood for hundreds of years. It's been expanded out from Dead Town to the slums and bazaar that are the oldest and most natural areas of the game, to the industrial section and main town that are the most technologically and architecturally advanced and well-off sections of town. Now, in the sewers, we see the foundations of that city. On the top level, there's modern additions to the city, modern plumbing, rusty pipes leaking, disgusting sludge cover up the pristine stone aqueducts underneath. The entire place feels like it's been in a state of disrepair in an effort to cover up the beginnings of the city so that it seems like nothing has existed before Baron Praxis, the game's oppressive villain that took over the city. Visually, it matches the tone of the story and the visual language of the main open world, but importantly, the level features several sneak peeks into what is to come for the future. Naughty Dog has always been really good at guiding the player through points of interest, something I touched on back in this video. Shameless plug! Link in the description down below. Subscribe. Naughty Dog does this in the sewers via the water level. They condition us to follow the water in this level as it will guide us to every single turret. At the very start of the level, there's one area that instantly piques the player's interest because it's completely shut off. Now when I look at this, my gamer sense starts tingling, and you combine that with the clear-ish water that lets you see that there's more to the level hidden beneath the waves, you get a solid recipe for building intrigue and anticipation. Mission 2 in the sewers takes place after we've acquired the jetboard. Now we're tasked with going through the sewers and actually activating the plumbing that hasn't been active since crew was skinny. Remember that little blocked door from the first sewer mission? Well, now we can actually go into it. We glide through the sewers wondering how drunk the engineer was when he designed this section of the sewers, because what the fuck, man. Seriously, look at this shit. How were they supposed to get in there and fix up this place? No wonder it's been flooded for almost 60 years. And finally, we get to the first valve and lower the water. The moment we lower the water, the amount of tech present in the sewers starts to diminish. The stone foundations of these aqueducts start to peek through. They're much cleaner than the rest of the sewers. Even the technology that's here before the Baron got through is cleaner. However, the technology in the Baron's hold on the city isn't washed away just yet. There's mines and other security down here prepared to stop anyone who plans on draining the sewers, and we have to navigate our way around them. We make it to the last valve and drain the sewer completely. Most of the mines explode, and now we are pretty much completely free of the advanced tech of the Baron. These aqueducts are at their oldest and cleanest now, as clean as you can get in a sewer.
I hate to burst your bathtub bubbles, baby, but that ain't just mud down there.
The only obstacles left are a few bits of tech that Mar himself, the founder of Haven City, made to keep out any intruders, and a few mines of the Baron that survived. Mar's ingenuity now shines through the sewers just as we find the statue of him that Crew sent us to find. Finally, when we return for the third time, we're now escorting a band of Crew's men on a mission to blow up Mar's statue and recover an artifact that we just discovered was inside it. The water is completely gone from the sewer, meaning that it's both easier for us to get directly to the statue, but now that we've removed most of the Baron's defenses, more metalheads have made it in. We also get to see and appreciate the vastness of the sewer. Mar built his city to last, and it shows in just how much of a better state the foundations of the city are in compared to the Baron's new additions. As I said earlier, even the tech Mar put in here is in a better state than the Baron's tech. It just goes to show how fragile the Baron's hold on the city actually is. The sewer is an incredibly well-designed level on pretty much every aspect. The use of layering in this level gives us an area so rich with gameplay and environmental storytelling that it's almost staggering. There's so much passive world building and thematic relevance in a place as disgusting as a sewer. On the other side of the coin of all this, there are games that could have greatly benefited from reusing assets in the same way that a game like Jak 2 benefited from it. Insomniac's Spider-Man Miles Morales is one such game. So, to be completely fair, Miles Morales as a game is completely full of reused assets. It is a sequel spin-off to Insomniac's first game. The entire city is reused and given a new coat of paint of snow. A lot of locations from the first games, like the Fisk construction sites, are reused as bases again, and generally everything in the first game just has a new coat of paint to fit the new setting and to show that time has passed since the first game and things in this world have changed. The same, unfortunately, cannot be said about the assets reused specifically for the story. I love that the game does it, but it's done in a way that I just don't think really enhances the story, and it could have been used to greater effect. For some short context, Miles Morales' story follows Miles as he's the sole Spider-Man of New York, while Peter takes a working vacation to Symkaria to help MJ with her book. During this time, a new faction rises in New York, the Underground, run by the Tinkerer. At the same time, Miles reconnects with his old friend Finn Mason. Yes, we all knew how obvious this was. We meet Finn and share a cutscene introducing us to her character, her relationship to Miles, and we get hints to a mysterious older brother, Rick. After the first scene with Finn, we can meet her later for more bonding and reuniting, and there's a short flashback scene to meet Rick for the first time, and he's pretty chill. He likes Lord of the Rings, which, that's awesome. I can't wait to actually meet this guy in the present. Oh. Yeah, Finn is the Tinkerer, and the game does its best to showcase the relationship between Miles and Finn, their friendship. However, the relationship really lacks strong legs in the establishment because it's only done in a cutscene. We get to see a solid introduction to her, and there's plenty of references to Miles and Finn's past relationship, and the actors portray them pretty well, but we've never seen or played through their relationship. At least, not yet. We spend the rest of the game following Finn, trying to uncover her operation and stop her plans so that innocent people don't get hurt. Eventually, Miles reveals his identity to Finn, and Finn reveals how her brother died to Miles. But this is great, see, now we all understand each other, and we can work together. Okay, maybe not. And now, at the end of the game, the key to Finn's plan resides in the Oscorp Science Center, the place where Miles and Finn's science project that they've hinted to the entire game was once on display, a testament to their hard work and friendship. This is the part where we have reused assets, and it's done directly after each other. Miles arrives at the Oscorp Science Center in the present and finds it in a massive state of decay. It's in the process of pretty much being torn down. There's no exhibits, it's a shell of its former self. The place reflects what Miles and Finn's relationship has become after the events of the game. It's broken down, busted, and unable to really be built back up. Miles makes his way to the old display where his and Finn's project was, and here we get a flashback to that day. The exhibit is bright and full of life. Everyone is there with an air of wonder and excitement, and in the center of it all is these two best friends. Finn and Miles explore the exhibit, and it's pretty fun. The two are pretty charming together. There's some good mini games and nice comments on the other exhibits that they get to have, and both also forgot that they needed to actually buy passes to see their project on display. And since neither of them have money to do that, they science their way into the exhibit together and get up to see their project. And that's when we see Rick, and there's a nice little bonding moment between the three. Then the flashback ends and brings us back to the reality of the present, where Miles and Finn's relationship has almost completely deteriorated. And it would be really sad if we actually got to see this flashback way back in the beginning of the game. This is the really unfortunate part of Miles' solo game. The narrative is good and has very strong moments, but it's just sadly done out of order, and a simple change and reuse of assets might have helped this story find its legs. Imagine, if you will, the first moment we meet Finn. Instead of just being a cutscene talk, we get the flashback of them at the Science Center when Miles introduces Finn to Genki. Here we get to bond with Finn through gameplay and cutscenes. We get to play their history at the beginning of the game. We get to meet Rick and have this be his actual introduction. And the entire time we get to see and experience what their relationship was like and revel in the fact that it hasn't yet changed, making Miles' declaration to Finn of "I'm really glad to see you again" feel more genuine and heartfelt. And subsequently, it would make the deterioration of their friendship that much more tragic. This would then make the fact that we go to the Science Center at the end of the game also even more saddening. We have to fight Finn in the same place we met her. We would see and play through their beginnings at the start of the game, we would see and play through their fall through the majority of the game, and then we would see and play through their final moments right at the end, where Finn sees the true error of her ways and their friendship gets one last moment to shine through before Finn meets her end.
Let go.
Interestingly enough, this is a lesson Insomniac took to heart with their next game. Spider-Man 2 features exactly what I discuss here for Miles with Peter and Harry. When Harry is reintroduced to us and Peter, we play through a whole bike ride down memory lane. We see their humble beginnings the night their friendship truly formed, as Harry leads Peter both in flashback and present day through trespassing on school property, as they talk about how they are going to change the world and their dream to do that through a foundation. We play through that segment and work with Harry in the past to sneak through the school. It's a really nice and sweet moment of the game. The performances sell just how much these two have been friends and how strong their bond is. Then, later in the game, we get to see the visualization of that dream they shared in the Emily May Foundation, the place where the two brothers will fulfill their dream to change the world. We get to play through all that cool stuff Harry is doing at the Foundation and what he and Peter can achieve. It's kind of inspiring. Now you fast forward through a whole long-ass yet somehow rushed game, and now Harry has taken on 19 inches and is ready to share the load with Peter back at the place they became brothers. The first part of the Venom boss fight takes place on the football field where Harry learned that his mom was dead and the bond between him and Peter was forged. Fast forward again, and now Venom returns with Peter to the destroyed Emily May Foundation. Both battle arenas are destroyed and corrupted by the symbiote, mirroring the relationship between Peter and Harry and showing visually just how much the symbiote corrupts that which it touches. Yet, above all else, the one thing left standing at the end of this fight is the Emily Osborn and May Parker tribute in the lobby, mirroring the bond between Peter and Harry that managed to survive through to the end. Reusing assets in a personal story such as this is an incredible tool of narrative design because it can take a story that unfortunately was too rushed and undercooked and still manage to make a powerful ending moment. And for other games where the story is much less personal, reusing assets can lead to a much richer setting with a story told without uttering a single line of dialogue. Hey y'all, thanks for jumping in for this episode. I love doing these little gushing, examining videos. They're really fun for me to go through. And this time, the outro did not get cut off by the video. God, there was so much issues with that last Spider-Man 2 video when uploading. I hated it. But moving forward, I got some more videos coming in. Let me know down in the comments what game you've played where they've reused assets and you've loved it. I don't know. Let's have some discussion. It'll be fun. But thank you for coming in. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good YouTuber jazz. Bye, everybody.